Hi, I'm going to show you how to use our Vergo bathroom construction plan template. To begin with, let's start on the Task tab here. Under Task, we have already added predetermined tasks for you. Under Planning, Demolition, Electrical and Plumbing, Replacing shower tiles, there are sub-tasks as well. You can choose to modify this or leave this to your liking. Next, you can choose from the status drop-down menu here. You can choose from Not Started, In Progress, On Hold, or Completed. You can modify this by clicking the Edit button here. Once you've clicked on the edit button, you can modify the color, modify the name, add or remove any item as you'd like. If you change anything, make sure you click on Done, Apply to All, and then click on the X next to data validation rules. This ensures that all the drop-down menus are updated. Next, we have the start date, end date, and duration days. Now, this will update automatically up top, anything that's in light orange, and all the end dates will update on their own based on what we put here for the duration date. What we will have to update is anything that's in white or any drop-down menus. So this will calculate the earliest start date, and this will calculate the latest end date. So the latest end date is calculated from here on the 2nd, and the earliest from here on the 15th. But what if I want to change that and say I want to start on the 14th? I would simply change this earliest one, which is the brainstorm, to 2/14, let's say, one day earlier. And it's going to modify the start date. Let's say I want this task to last me for 2 days, or let's say 6 days. That's going to modify this to the 20th. And then the next one would start on the 20th. This one will be added manually. So in this case, for this one here, let's say we want the end date to be a little bit longer, or just to give you an example, let's modify this to 6, and it will also update the duration days. Let's hit enter, and it updates that to instead of the 2nd, it updates it to the last date to the 4th, because this is adding the 6 days to the start date. And then the duration amount is calculated based on the start date and end date from here. So let's go back and put that to 4. Let's leave it at 16 days. Next, we have the percent completed. This is where you would add the percent completed. Let me show you. If I add this or change this to 50% completed here, this will grab the average of whatever is down here. So in this case, it's a 90% average because one is at 50%. Let's go ahead and put it at 100%, and everything else is completed at 100% for planning task. Next, you have a space to add the contractor or the company in charge of that task. You have any space for notes, and at the end you have who this task is assigned to. You could choose from the drop-down menu the names. To modify this, click on the edit button and change the names, change the colors to your liking. Once you've made that or made any changes, click on Done, Apply to All, and then X next to Data Validation Rules. Next, on the Budget tab, this is where you would add or choose from the drop-down menu if the service or item is on hand. You can modify this with the Edit button here. This is where you would add the service or item, add any image here, and then this is where you can choose from the drop-down menu from the status of that item or service. From the menu that we have here, you could choose to edit that with the Edit button here. And if you make any changes, any modifications, always click on Done, Apply to All, and then X next to Data Validation Rules. Next, under Tasks, this you can simply copy and paste from whatever you have here, from whatever task. So let's say it's plan budget. Let's copy that. And let's say that task number 1 belongs to plan budget. It's very important to know that if you copy it or when you copy it, because this here, needed by, is going to grab the date of whatever task you have here. So if this item or service is for plan and budget, it's going to grab it when that's needed by. So if it's for this task, it's needed by 2/26 based on whatever we have here. Plan budget, 2/26, because that's when it starts by. So we need that item or service by that date. Next, we have the estimated cost, the cost, and then here, this will calculate the estimated total, and then this will calculate the total cost here, that whatever from what we input here. Then this will calculate the deviation and the percentage as well from whatever we input in the estimated cost and cost. Next, we have contractor. Add your contractor, add any link. Then you can add any receipts. And at the end, you add notes. And last but not least, we have the contractor tab where you can add the contractor company, the title. You can modify this with the drop-down menu. Then you have the point of contact, phone number, email, invoice, and notes.